Welcome to my video about building a low-cost arcade cabinet, and I'm going to step you through the process I took to build this Super Mario themed cabinet using scrap material and producing it at around about £20 in total. It all started with some rescued wood from an old set of drawers, and as you can see, I'm starting to draw out where I want the buttons. The buttons were the first purchase I made, and they came in at a staggering £10 off eBay, but they're well worth it. You're going to need some. And as you can see, it's all starting to come together at this point. I'm not following any plans. It's all based around the width and the height of the actual monitor that I have, and keep adding and building it bit by bit using salvage wood. And as you can see, nothing quite fits properly, nothing quite matches, and there are various gaps, but there are techniques which I'll explain later that we can use to hide these mistakes. Next comes the spray paint, and these came in at about £7 for a couple of cans, and the wood, because it was cheap, was like a sponge. It just soaked up the paint, so I had to give it a good few coats, and by the end of it, it was completely drenched in the stuff. But it all stayed, and it all looked pretty good. And yeah, it's coming on at this point. One nice way of hiding mistakes is using edging, and I'm going to buy expensive edging. I'm using insulation tape, which I got a couple of rolls for £1 at the market, and yeah, it's a great way of hiding those gaps, hiding where those bits of panels of wood don't quite fit together, and it's actually looking really good. My son decided to take the approach of a Super Mario theme, so it's all blue and red. Next comes crimping those connectors, and do this as early as possible. You need to do it on all the buttons, and your joystick kit should come with all the wires needed. So each button needs two wires crimped like this. Make sure they're done properly, because once it's all installed, you don't want to go climbing underneath to fix any problems. The buttons are really nice actually. They just hook in. They just pop in, clip in, which is great, because if you do have to correct a mistake, they can pop out quite easily. The last thing to do is put the joystick in. Actually, tell a lie, the last thing you need to do is connect it up to the USB board. And if you don't know which ones go where, there are various diagrams online that you can look up by doing a quick Google search. I can't stress this enough. Test it at this point, because if it doesn't work after you've built everything, you're going to have to dismantle it. So test as early as possible. And here is my son testing it now, just to make sure everything is working correctly, and it looks like it is. It still looks a bit tatty because of the edging and whatever, but generally I'm quite pleased with the way it's turned out. My last cabinet was massive, and I used car vinyl for covering, and that really bumped up the cost. This cabinet I wanted more compact because it's easier to transport, because there's loads of places I take this to, and it's always a crowd pleaser. But I'm happy with the spray paint and insulation tape approach. The toys I've added here were from Old McDonald's Happy Meal toys, along with the question mark cube on the joystick there. The sticker, I bought a sticker for a couple of pounds off, again, eBay, just to finish the look, and that takes the cost minus, not including the cost of the monitor. The whole thing came in at around £20. So how much does it cost to build a cabinet? About that, actually, in this case, 20 odd pounds. But it did take a lot of time and planning to get to this point. But I hope it encourages you to give it a go. It's not as difficult as you think.